Hello and welcome to our Feng Shui panel podcast on Feng Shui for Abundance. And I am so excited to introduce these beautiful, beautiful, conscious, wise, loving Feng Shui goddesses. And there's so much more. Like they're just beautiful women that I love and adore and have known many of you for a number of years. And so I'd like to welcome you all here and thank you all for being here. And I'd love to start with Marie, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks a million. Hello, everybody who's listening and viewing this. So, my name is Marie, and I'm a professional coach as well as a holistic practitioner. And I kind of specialize in Feng Shui, flower essences, and ancestral healing. I kind of been living in Ireland now for 18 years, and I have a lovely partner from Tipperary who's a big fan of hurling and a dog, Yoda. And yeah, like I'm just really delighted to be here and share my kind of take on wealth and prosperity and feng shui and how it can help. Thanks.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Marie. Paula, let's come to you next, love.
Hi, welcome to the ones listening. As Maria said, I'm a Feng Shui consultant. I did my last certification with Amanda. I do healing and dowsing, and I work a lot of with the quantum colors, which I really like, and a bit of meditation. So it will be fun to talk today about wealth and prosperity with all the girls. So
Mm,
welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. And Elke.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elke, and I am the founder of Life Path Designs and Life Path Feng Shui. I am an interior designer, and I use Feng Shui in my designs. I'm also qualified in crystals and color and loads of other things. But my journey started 10 years ago with Amanda and doing Feng Shui and haven't stopped since. So I'm so grateful to be here today. Thank you.
And Fionnuala.
Hi, ladies. Hi,
Hey.
Amanda. Thank you for having me here. It's an absolute pleasure. So, Fionnuala is my name. I'm from the west of Ireland. I started my feng shui journey almost 10 years ago now. And seriously, starting, I didn't understand how transformative it was going to be, how much of a change it would bring to my life. I just love sharing it with anyone that will listen, basically, friends and family and clients that alike. It's been amazing, and I'm very grateful to be here.
Thank you for being here, Fionnuala. And
Cheers.
as you can see, there's just this beautiful circle of amazing women. They've all come through the Feng Shui Master Certification. Many of you have been studying the geomancy and the land healing. And over Fionnuala, when you came in person, and Elke, and you just all dedicated and then gone beyond to other modalities that have spoke to you and spoke to your souls. So I'm really excited for our juicy conversation. And we decided, the topic would be all about abundance and prosperity and how we can create that in our spaces and within ourselves. So Marie, what would you suggest, like for some of our listeners that this all might be brand new and they're like, okay, where would I start? Like in my home, in my environment, where would I start?
Yeah, like there's so many, but like for brand new, not knowing anything about feng shui, and you talk a lot about it. Like for me, it's declutter first. Make sure there's no clutter in the house, because if you have clutter, you're actually not allowing abundance in. Like there's no space for it. And one I find very important to declutter is really your entrance. Because if you really want it to come in, you need to feel that you can open your door, that there's nothing there kind of cluttering and not allowing energy to come in. But as well as the exterior, people forget their front entrance, and just making it welcoming, like nice flowers, a nice kind of welcome sign, or whatever it is that you feel drawn to. But I think from a real not knowing anything behind the feng shui, that just even now would actually bring abundance from
Mm,
experience.
I love that. Just like creating beauty and wanting to come in. And it's so true because sometimes people do forget that, and just they've to open the door the whole way. So I love that. Thank you so much. Paula. What do you feel? And feel free to share if there's personal experiences around it and stuff that you've really experienced in your own home and life as well. That's always just fascinating. So go ahead, Paula.
Yeah, as Maria said, the main entrance, the front door is basically the first thing that the chi sees when it enters a house. So what I like to do sometimes, it's working with the kids. So you can get some Chinese coins and draw an arrow under the entrance, and you put something on
Under the mat or something?
under the mat.
Yeah.
So you just draw a arrow pointing the house, so you bring some money or abundance there, and the kids love it, and they always check that it's not moved or anything. So it's fun to also include the kids in the feng shui. So when you put some cures or enhancements, they don't move them because they know what it means, that we are attracting a good energy.
Oh,
I like that.
I love
Yeah.
that.
And also opening the doors and the windows. So we clean a little bit the old chi and bring the new one, which I think is very important in every room. It doesn't matter if it's in the southeast, which is the wealth and prosperity, but every room is important to get new air, fresh. So everything new is coming.
I love that. And you're really saying like direct it and guide it, like with an arrow, open the doors. And that's the amazing thing about energy. It's like everything is made of energy, but we can kind of guide it. So I love that. It's just literally an arrow going this way, come on in, bring it in. So and
Yeah,
it's lovely. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, I was very lucky. I lived in Asia a couple of years. So if you said to people, put like the wealth sheep or the money frog, they will love it. But in the Western part of the world, it's too shiny. So we need to find different ways to enhance and attract the chi. So, and I like the arrow. I think it's very fun, and the kids love it.
I know, and I love that.
It's a good way.
The whole family, it's everybody gets to. And I love that you're saying they're always going in and checking and making sure it's there. So that's beautiful. That's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, Elke.
Feng Shui for me was something that was not something I went looking for initially. I didn't really understand it. I remember years ago, we had a business and we were owed loads of money. We had invoices out and there was no money coming in. It just seemed to be blocked. And we had somebody staying, a member of the family staying in our house, and he went into town one day and bought us all little gifts, and he bought me a book on Feng Shui. And I took a quick glance at it, put it on the bookshelf and thought no more about it. And then one day I was cleaning up the room or whatever, and I came across this book, and I sat in the bed and I started flicking to different pages. And I came across this page that said, blocked drains mean that your abundance is blocked. And our garden at the time, we had a blocked drain, and the water had for about 3 months just been spilling all over the patio. And every time I questioned about getting it done, I was told, oh no, the patio's going to have to be dug up. You're going to have to get this done. It's going to be a big job. And I thought, no, I had in my head, I have to get someone to sort this. And it just so happened I got into the car to go somewhere. And as I was leaving, coming back to the house, there was this lorry in front of me with drain cleaning. So I stopped and wrote down his number and went home and rang him. He turned up that afternoon, and there was still the people saying, oh no, I don't think it's going to work. And I was like, just let them try. And within like half an hour, all the drains were done. Everything was cleared. And within a week, all the invoices started to be paid. And I was like, right, okay. So I flicked to a few more pages at the time, but then kind of got lost in it. I thought, a bit confusing now. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I know that bit. I was quite happy. But it was really, for me, after that, a few years later, that after I did my interior design studies, I did crystal, color, and feng shui therapy. And that's the one where I picked up that little booklet and I couldn't put it down. I was obsessed. It was just like, give me more. I couldn't get enough of it. And then I found you, and the rest is history.
Yeah, but so I can't remember, but I do remember something about the day you showed up, and I love that story. Yeah. You share that story because the day that you walked in to the function training. Well, what like if you'd like to share with us, what was it again?
So I'd never really gone away and left my children ever on their own, especially for a week. But somehow I'd managed to book myself a week away in Dublin to study with you. And I just remember it was so bizarre what I did. It was so strange. Anyway, got together, got into the car, didn't know where I was going, and got there. It was lashing rain. I mean, the whole way from Carlow to Dublin, it was awful weather. And I'm like, oh, how bad can this get now? I knew I shouldn't have been coming here. What am I doing anyway? I don't even know what I'm doing this for. And I remember going in and meeting you all. And there was one part of the feng shui, you see, that I didn't like. I liked the easy part, the part that I tend to teach to people who want to know a few bits, like just the main areas and what to put in there for abundance, what to put in there for love. But you were doing the classical, which was all the numbers, the scientific calculation. I was like, no. And I just remember you said, no, we'll be doing the scientific, the classical. And I just remember saying, that's it. I'm going to have to leave now. And I picked up my bag. And as I picked up my bag, you just started the meditation. I thought, right, well, I'll wait till she finishes that. And then you just kept talking. I didn't really want to interrupt you. So I just sat there and I thought, and you said, right, we'll have a break at 11 o'clock. And I thought, grand, I'll stick this out till 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock came, and next thing I knew, I was sitting back in after the tea break. I'm like, oh, looks like I'm staying now anyway. Because you just made something so complicated. For me, it seemed very complicated. You made it so easy. And so it was so interesting. I can't describe it. It was the way you taught it. It was that you really caught me for that hour and a half. You captured me enough to hold on to me for over 10 years. Because honestly,
and here you are. I love it because here you are out teaching and sharing. And it's beautiful. So thank you for sharing that, because that's a beautiful, first of all, with the drains, and that is the beauty of feng shui, just some simple little, I'm going to clear out the drains and then everything can flow. I mean, just that. And then when you decide, no, I'm going to get to the drain thing, then kind of spirit meets you. There's the truck.
It came.
Again, the number, you call them. I love that. So thank you for sharing. And, sometimes we face those fears, those things that are really scary, the gifts on the other side. Usually the more scary they are, the more powerful the gift is on the other side. So thank you for sharing that. So
no problem. Thank you.
So far we got clear your clutter, clear out the front door, clean out your drains, and do that what you're scared of, right? Fionnuala, what would you share with us, my love?
Okay, so I concur with everything the girls are saying. And my personal experience, when I arrived to do my training with you in Wexford, I was an absolute mess, completely overwhelmed. I didn't actually know how or where I could start. Unfortunately for me, you helped me to do my chart. So I was ready to go as soon as I got back home. But I met a lot of resistance. My children were very interested in what I was after doing and learning. And they were saying, oh, Mom, that's fantastic. And that's fantastic. Don't kind of tell anybody. Keep it, just keep it quiet. And my husband wanted to help me. He really did want to help me. But everything just seemed to get in the way of getting our remedies and doing what needed to be done. So anyway, eventually we started, and, I wrote it down 100 times. I wrote it down once, and we went and we got things sorted. And all I can tell you is from the day that we put in our remedies into our home, everything changed. There was absolutely win after win after win. And I was very mindful of them, and I was so grateful for them, and I was just overwhelmed with it and overjoyed, to be honest. And I remember being in the car one day with my husband and saying to him, so what do you think? And he said, oh, whatever. And I said, but what about this? And what about that? And what about the other? And he said, all right, yeah. So I said, now, can we kind of embrace it a little bit more? So I can tell you, he's on it. Anytime we need something done, every year when we're doing our annual remedies, he's saying, right, what needs to be done? Let's get it done. Let's get it sorted. And I can't even begin to tell you all of the things that have happened in our lives. Traveling, the most wonderful experiences, opportunities opening up, income streams happening that I, in my wildest dreams, could not have imagined. Money arriving on our doorstep for whatever reason, through policies we had that we didn't know we had, been able to build a source of income that's continual for us, managing to travel the world, meeting wonderful people along the way. But I remember stopping in New Zealand, and we were heading on to San Diego, and Jared said to me, why didn't we go to Hawaii? And I said, well, because we kind of wanted to get from here to there as quickly as we could and whatever. And our flight got cancelled. And I was coming back out of the airport, and I met a guy that you know and I know. We've been following him forever, Nicky Hammett. And I got to meet him and got big hugs. And my husband is looking and saying, what is going on? So I said, Jared, you have to be careful what you wish for. We go down the road, and then we are down the airport, and we asked to get out of the country. We said, no, we're ready to go now. We don't want to wait till tomorrow. So they sent us to Hawaii. And I said to Jared, now you really need to be careful what you ask for. This Feng Shui is really, really powerful. When you're in the stream, the ease and the flow, it's happening. So we get to go to Hawaii. And we've been there several times since, I have to say, because of the abundance in my life. I don't know. Sometimes it blows my mind, and other times I just smile. So it's happy days.
That's amazing.
Happy days. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And as you share it, you can just feel the embodiment from you, and then also just this trust and ease about it all,
Yeah.
And
this is the word that I've written down here, is trust and fearless. I think I was very fearful when I arrived to do my Feng Shui. I was terrified. And now I don't fear. And I trust, beyond bounds. I just trust everything works out. Now, I'm in South Spain. I brought my computer with me, and I couldn't get into Zoom, and I couldn't update my system today because of the Wi-Fi or whatever. So I'm on the phone during this. And I just thought, no, I'm not going to stress about this now. This is going to be fine. It's all going to work out. And so I'm on the phone, and everything's working out, and I'm very grateful.
No,
but trust and trust and trust. Yeah.
Oh, you're amazing. Yeah. And thank you for being here. And thank you for being here while you're off on holiday too. So we get to see that beautiful travel, abundant energy. And thank you. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. All right, Marie. So we've talked about clutter. We've talked about front door. We've talked about kind of getting things in working order, drains cleared. And as Fionnuala's saying, you've all kind of shared the Southeast is kind of to do with the wealth, and Fionnuala's been sharing that we have a travel area and how we can activate these different areas. So what else now? And I know when we talk about abundance, it can be an abundance of love. If people really just want to get the prosperity flowing, what are maybe, I know you've had a lot of personal experiences with Feng Shui, anything you'd like to share, or just suggestions you would make to everybody?
Yeah, it's amazing to hear the stories from the ladies and how Feng Shui helps them. And from a prosperity, I'm actually I live in a reversed house, and it's only when I actually did the course that I realized I was in a reversed house, and I was like, and I never had any necessarily issue with money, but it wasn't flowing. It was okay, because my 2 cents is that for me, abundance is all about, I'm really a nature person. So when I moved to the house, suddenly the garden became that lush garden because I let things go wild and brought loads of trees and plants in the house, and just really, so it somehow energetically it must have been kind of counteracting a little bit. But when I found out that it was reversed, I was like, oh, okay, hold on. And I remember putting in my front those massive pots. They're about 1.20 meters, and I have 2 of them, and one is right by the entrance, not blocking the sheep, but right there, and the other one is on the other side. And when people since I put them, why do you have them there? And I'm like, they're not to be moved. They're staying there because they're my mountain. They need to be here. They need to support me. The house needs them. And what I found is not that the flow increased, but at least I felt I was spending less. Things that you don't realize just come out of your bank account, and you're like, where did that go? Why suddenly I only have that much? That was happening less. Or decisions. I was less inclined to make decisions that were not actually supporting my wealth. So that was one big thing that I saw when I put them in. And then when I discovered the Southeast, and I think some of the ladies mentioned that, I definitely, like Fionnuala said, I was like, okay, which remedies do I need to put? And this year it's red earth. So I have Himalayan lamps in both floors, in that corner, and plenty of it. But some of the things I started putting on top of the remedies were like, I've put a Ganesh. So actually, I have it beside me because I was like, I'll show you. So I have a big one in the southeast.
Gorgeous.
Because removal of obstacles. So
Yeah.
I want to remove any obstacles to my wealth. So I have it in there. Or given that we live in Ireland, like I have this pot, and in there I have loads of like, those coins and just random money in there. And again, I have it in that southeast corner, And my partner moved in about a year ago, and he was seeing all those things, those random things. And he's like, can I move them? I'm like, Fionnuala, you do not touch them. That's it. They're there for a reason. And but what I've seen is once I keep the remedies and I've put those kind of in there, and anything that means abundance. So I'm a flower essence practitioner. So what I have as well is I have gold flower essence on it, and I have other essences that I actually put there, the bottles, just to bring that energy in. So they're the things that I do. And from a personal experience, what I've seen is I'm not multimillionaire, but definitely it's like there hasn't been a time where I've been like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? Or how am I going to, because there's always a way that money's flowing and coming and supporting me in what I need to do. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing, and a lot of really powerful practical tips. And just for all our listeners that mightn't know, that when Marie says that she discovered she had a reverse home, there's a couple of different home types, and there's Wang Shui, which means it's really supportive financially in relationship, and we've double sitting and double facing, and reverse means that it needs some support on the finances and the relationship. So the remedy is out the front, the facing, earth. So that's where Marie put those large pots, and it really kind of grounds the space. And I love that you were saying, I feel like I made more sound decisions on things, and so just how it helped with that flow. And I always say that with Feng Shui, it's not like you Feng Shui your home and everything's perfect in your life, because that's never our way. Like, life is cyclical. We have our mountains and our valleys, but it's just whatever's going on in our lives, things just flow a bit better. We're more supportive. We're in an environment where we feel good, we feel safe, we feel more inspired, and I think peaceful. Like, and that's our birthright. So I love that. And then I also love, Marie, how you shared your personal expressions of like flower essence. That's something you work with. So you brought in the gold for the abundance area. You brought in the lucky charm, right, with the abundance of money in it. And then Ganesh, as you said, like the remover of obstacles, he's like the bouncer. He doesn't let any. So that's by your front door. So it's not letting that energy in, or So I love your expression of that. And then I also just love that you said you moved into your home, and it was just, you felt like the abundance came anyway, just through the beauty and all the wildlife and the flowers growing. So
no, and from that, and I think I can't remember, one of the ladies mentioned that the other aspects starting moving as well. So it's like a ripple effect. I mean, from that, once you start putting those remedies and really adding your what it means for you. I mean, when I did the course, I was single for a number of years, and this is never going to happen. And I put my remedies, and I also kind of really cleared and let space in. And I mean, I met someone and he's living here, and you need to get it for 2 years. It kind of ripples into other areas of your life once you kind of, even if you're just focused, let's say, today on wealth and prosperity, but just doing that, to me, from experience, it has a ripple effect on the rest.
I love that. Oh yeah, like it works on all levels, not just about it's like love and health, and just like, that's what I love about it so much. It feels like every day it's supporting you, like your home supports you and the energy is supporting you. So I love that. Thank you for sharing. And what a lucky man. Bless man. Paula, what would you like to share with us next, love?
I was thinking that when you start working as a Feng Shui consultant, you are more like a detective. So when I go to a house, I start looking at every place in the house, and then you start reading energies and see, for example, dead flowers or the leaks in the kitchen or in the bathroom. So for me, abundance is not only money, it's also abundance of happiness, abundance of health. So I always check like the Southwest, which is the wealth and prosperity. I also check the North, because then you need abundance of clients, abundance of good work. The Southwest, because it's the marriage and the matriarch. So if there's some problems there, you need abundance to kind of cure this. And the center, because it's everything. I mean, the center reflects the whole house. So I always check the center, and I always said to people, I know it's difficult because when you are in your house, you don't see it basically, because we are 95% working in our subconscious. So try to close your eyes and see it as a visitor and see what you have. Broken things, broken things will bring you broken things, problems, broken relations. So start looking at the whole house in that way. And so for me, the wealth and prosperity is 5 places. It's the Southeast, the North, the Northwest, because it's like the patriarch and the helpful people. So you need abundance of friends, you need abundance of jobs or traveling. So it's a lot of things, the abundance. So it's not just money. You need more than money to be happy and enjoying your house. So I always said that to people, and they start looking at me very strangely. But I said, okay, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have a good health, you cannot enjoy it. If you're not healthy, you cannot travel, so the money will not help. So try to see it as a puzzle. The whole house is a whole entity, is alive. So the whole house needs to work in order for you to be healthy, to be happy, and to have the things that you want. And the moment that this puzzle is in a good shape, things will start coming, as Marie says. Things will start coming, and you are like, oh, I didn't do nothing. Yes, you did a lot. You start cleaning, you open the windows, you clean the kitchen, you check that everything works, you don't have broken things. So for me, it's the whole package. So every part of the house is very special, and everything is related. It's not like, okay, the wealth is only the Southwest. No, it's also in your office. It's also in your room. It's in the living room, in the kids' room. So it's funny, because then I feel like sometimes when I go to a house, I feel like a detective. I always talk a lot, but when I go to a house, I'm very quiet and I just look everything and I start taking notes. And my friend said, "What are you doing?" I tell you later. And then I'm come with a big list, and then I try to tell them, close your eyes. What you see now, imagine you're a visitor in this house. Because even for me, when I do my Feng Shui, I like somebody to do it for me also, because you're used to the things. So you don't see. You see, but you don't look. So it's kind of, that picture shouldn't be there. But it's been always there. So you bypass the things when it's your own house. The same for the clients. They don't see it. Broken things that they've been there many years, they don't even notice, because it's always been there. So I always do that exercise. Close your eyes. Imagine you go to a different house. Open your eyes. What do you see? And they get surprised, because they see things that they normally would not tell you. So I love that exercise. I think you taught us that exercise. It was really nice.
I love that, because that you say, our subconscious mind, it's our conscious mind is like basically 5%, right? So it's that unconscious mind, and we can just fly in and out of our home without bringing that awareness. And we always call it like Feng Shui eyes. When our Feng Shui eyes are open, it's like, oh my God, I can't even believe I've had that piece of artwork, or that thing's been broken, or I've just left those piles of clutter. Like I even just had that the other day, my utility room, a pile of clutter. And I had ignored, just like you said, I had ignored it for a while, and then I just found it, and I'm like, oh my God. But what was really interesting is the solution came in of, we don't really need 25 board games. We don't really need, and it's like, okay, let's go through our top 5. Do you know what I mean? And here I am. Look, I've been teaching this for over 20 years. You think I would have it down, but it just came to, and it's like Elke, the drains, the truck was there, the clearing, and it's just like the flow happens then. But I think, and I always love this perspective, but the most cluttered area of our home, or dirtiest or darkest, represent our lowest level of consciousness. So like I'm really aware of that. Like it's like, oh, okay, what's going on in the utility room right now, Amanda? Like, what's that all about? And then it was like, it's cleared, and it just feels so much better. Well, and I love it because when we're all talk, we're all like, yeah. I mean, this is our language right here, you know. So thank you, Paula.
But it's always like that. And I always do this exercise with people, because when I start saying to them that we are 95%, they just look at you kind of, she's in Huhuland. And I go to the kitchen and I said, which one of the ovens, the burners you use? Do you use the 4 of them? Yeah, of course. And I said, no, which one you use? They always use the same one. So I always said, that's it. You are kind of autopilot. So try to use the 4 burners, and then you will start seeing new things. Because we always do the same things over and over, but we don't realize it. You know? So it's kind of, okay, breathe slow and then go again.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. I love all these amazing nuggets and things that people can just like, rather than just using the one, you know, you use all of them, get that flow going. All right, Elke.
I'm going to have to ask you what the question was.
Well, really, it was there. I don't know if there was really a specific. It was just what's next? Like what else might you suggest? Yeah.
Okay. So I had a client about a year and a half ago. And she kept saying to me, can you come and do the feng shui in my house? And it was during COVID and things like that. And I was like, because the first time she asked me, actually, I'd just come back from China and I was exhausted. And I ended up sitting beside her for a meal one night, and she kept saying, you're meant to be sitting beside me because you need to come and do the feng shui in my house. And of course I was like, yeah, no problem. But of course, COVID kicked in then. And then it was kind of during COVID at some point when you could meet up outside. I went to visit my friend, and there was this other lady sitting in the garden because I had gone at the wrong time. I was late, and she had, do you know what I mean? So we were actually meant to be there again. So then she went, you said you were doing the feng shui in my house. And I was like, yeah, but COVID's here now. And, you know, I was really trying to get myself back into it. Anyway, we pinned down a date, and I went to visit her house, and lo and behold, she was completely open to everything. So done the feng shui chart for the house she was living in. And she said, before you leave, she said, I have a house I'm trying to sell up the road. So she said, can we book another appointment for you to come and have a look at that? So I said, fine. We went up to see this beautiful, massive house. It had been on the market for a long time. No offers. The offers had completely gone. There was, you know, when it kind of died off, there was nothing happening. So anyway, she needed, obviously, to increase their abundance. They wanted to release this house because they wanted, you know, obviously you want the money from it. So I went back and we did the feng shui for home sales. And she did absolutely everything I asked her to do. She was amazing. So, you know, when you have a client that's on board with you, that's it. You really are going to work. So she went and sourced the St. Joseph statue. And we did that, and we buried it in the garden. And she was going, my God, what are we doing? I'm like, just do it. We're going to be fine. I did a massive space clearing on the house. You know, I did everything we were meant to do about her releasing all her ties to the house and things like that. And we did everything. You know, I did absolutely everything to the book that you suggested. And basically, I went home, and not the next morning, the morning after, she went, I've got an offer on the house. She said, do you remember we asked for someone to come and you wanted someone to come and clear the drains or whatever? Well, the guy came and he said, oh my God, you're selling it. Well, my son is looking for a house. So he said, how much do you want for it? He's really interested. And lo and behold, just after that, she got 2 more offers on the house. So within, like, I was getting nearly a phone call every day or every second day. And when you pick it up, she go, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. I have another offer. And the house was sold and done and dusted in like probably 3 weeks. So it was amazing.
That's amazing. That's brilliant.
That she needed abundance for her funding for her counselling service that she does, which is a really worthwhile local service. And she was getting nowhere with the government and everything for about funding. Next thing she comes on, she went, you won't believe it. I have just actually managed to get, and she told me this huge amount of money for her counselling service. So that was amazing. She was like, God, this was really something else. Between the 2 houses being done at the same time.
She's a believer, huh?
Yeah. A couple of offers of romance. I mean, everything, like, even healing relationships within the family. I mean, she had a month of it where she was not able for what was coming next. It was like, I don't know when this is going to stop. It just kept coming. Because we had cleared the energy and we had done what we were supposed to do, putting in the correct remedies where they were. The two houses, of course, were connected through her, and it just went like wildfire. Everything was completely activated. As well as that, when we were finished with the sale was going through. She said, like, you're not going to believe this, but she said, I've an offer on our apartment in Spain that I forgot I was selling. So that also activated that other property.
That's amazing.
So we went back to get the St. Joseph, because the way you're meant to take the St. Joseph back. Well, he's gone. No one knows where he is. So she's been digging and digging and digging, and the new people were coming in going, what are you doing? She goes, I'm just looking for something. It's like, oh my God, we're going to have to go there in the middle of the night with a torch. What are we going to do? And I remember actually ringing you and going, Amanda, can we please leave St. Joseph, because we can't find him.
And what did I respond?
Yeah, you said, Jane, same as us, just leave him. If he wants to be there, leave him. And then a couple of months ago, she said to me, yeah, I've had another apartment sell. I said, well, we'll never look for St. Joseph, just leave him there. And she's been getting funding constantly for her. She's been getting constantly funding for her counselling. But I just think, I always thought that was amazing. That was really amazing. I mean, like, that you could sell 2 properties in one shot. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
that's amazing.
It shows the power of the energy.
Yeah. Well, Elke, sorry, I have to make a joke now, but hearing your stories, like, definitely all of your sharings and experiences, Feng Shui definitely works. But second of all, I've just got to get that drain guy over here. Something happens when you call the drain guy. He sells the house. Yeah, the money. I'm like, I got to get my drain.
I think he was the drain guy that she got. Oh, well, I definitely had the drain guy, but I think it was a drain guy, or was it someone to clear? It was something to do, because this house wasn't lived in, but it was a guy to come to do stuff. And he was like, what, you're selling this? I was like, no, he won't. But yeah, unbelievable. And then it was just, I don't know, it was just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And
so, of course,
that's the beauty of it. It's not like, it's like you just implement things and it just happens. There's no forcing. It's just, it's actually just the letting the energy flow. That's really, whether it is cleaning the drains or opening the door or clearing out the clutter or space clearing the old built up energy. Yeah, it really is. So amazing. Yeah. And I love hearing about the experiences now that you're all out in the world doing the work. You're all doing the work, you're teaching, you're doing the facilitating the healing. You've all got your workshops and beautiful offerings that you're doing, which we'd love to hear about in a little bit. Thank you for sharing. And it's lovely just hearing how you're all the teachers now. You're all doing it. Yeah. So it's beautiful. Thank you, love.
Okay.
Fionnuala, would you like to go next?
Okay. So I have similar experience to Elke with selling property and clearing land and, amazing things happening. I was in America, I was traveling, and I helped out some clients with, they had a house they needed to sell. It was about 2 years on the market. And they also had a site that they needed to get planning on. And maybe about 5 or 6 years in with the planning, and there was objections upon objections and costing fortunes every time there was a town meeting for this representative to go and represent them. So I'm there, and we've maybe about 10 days of kind of working together. And I'm saying, we look at this house here, we need to do X, Y, and Z, and we'll do an energy clearing. And I was conscious of them spending money, changing things up. So I kind of thought we'll repurpose things that we have here. And over the mantelpiece, there was a picture of a boat, a lake, and fog down on it. And I said, no, we're taking that out of there. We'll try and see what else around the house we can use. So put up a mirror. Now, there's nobody living in this house, by the way. The guy had built the house but hadn't managed to sell it. And his realtor was coming in and saying, oh, you need to get the gardens done, and it's, it's not going to happen until you do that. But anyway, we said, right, next we said we'll tackle the site. So I was after doing my training with Alex and yourself down and implemented a shamanic healing of the UA blessing. So I asked the client to hold the space, and not really understanding how things worked in America, I was saying, you're going to have to hold this now, and I'll do the healing of the land. And that exact night, her husband came home and he said, the guy that attended the town meeting said it was like a whole different panel of people in front of him when he went to the meeting, and they've granted permission to build. So they were after getting their planning permission, if you like, and whatever
amazing.
objections were had been withdrawn.
Oh, I got chills. That's amazing.
I could feel the hair stand on my head, and I thought, well, this isn't me. This isn't anything I've done other than be a conduit for the work, you know. And I was very mindful of staying grounded and keeping well back. I didn't want to engage in the conversation with this couple, you know. So I said, okay, so maybe we should go. But it was about 10 o'clock at night. I said, maybe we should just go over now to the other place and do the clearing, because I was getting ready to go home back to Ireland. So we did the clearing. There was a little bit of builder's work, dust and stuff, and we got that sorted. And I was going around the house. I was saying to the client, you hold the space here now. When she brought me to the property, we went in the back door and I said, no, we're not having that now. You know, any time this client guests or potential buyers coming, we need them to come in the front door. And she said, well, the place isn't landscaped. I said, I don't care. We need to use the front door and blah, blah, blah. So did the work. You know, I was coming home the next day or 2 days later. And the following morning, one of the client's husband went to meet the realtor, and she said, oh, you can't bring them in the front door. She said, the garden's not whatever. And he said, my Feng Shui consultant said, bring them in the front door and blah, blah, blah. So I'm on my way to the airport the following day, and they already now have had a few viewings and they had an offer. And then there was another couple wanting to come back and see. I know by the time I got back to Ireland, they'd agreed a sale, and things happen a lot faster in the States than they do here. So I think within 3 weeks of somebody living in that house.
That's amazing.
I wasn't taking credit. I kept thinking, no, I was the conduit for this.
Yeah.
Maybe all the good work they'd done, you know. But, you know, I'm kind of starting to own it now and say, yeah, I'm worthy of these sort of things happening. And I think it's through experience and through living a more balanced life, I think, and understanding energies and stuff that, yeah, we come to a point where, yeah, we're facilitating, we're helping, and yeah, stay grounded and keep doing what we're doing best. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And thank you for sharing that. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that you are owning the fact that, like, of course, we always know in our work, we're just channeling spirit and we're sharing knowledge. So, and then we detach from it. But yeah, you had an important part. Like, you got somebody in space and you came in and facilitated all that work that cleared it for their home to be built and for the home to sell. So, I mean, it's right there. I mean, before you even got back to Ireland, it had happened. So,
And I've had a few experiences in Ireland too. And yeah, I just think, you know, living in gratitude and living with a loving and open heart and energy, that all sorts of nice things come to you anyway, you know. And for me to be able to share that in the world and own that I can share that, you know, I think before my journey to Feng Shui, I would not have felt worthy enough, or I wouldn't have accepted that I was capable of doing this sort of thing, you know. And now I just say, yeah, this is what I do. This is who I am. If I can help anybody along the way, this is what I want to do. And then I just pull back, as you say, detach from it. And the right people come to me. I don't go out selling myself all the time. I don't I'm not good on technology. I don't update my websites and things like that. But, you know, the proper people find me, and in a very gentle way, I try and help them along, you know, and I'm so grateful to be able to do that.
oh, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And thank you, Fionnuala, and all of you for this amazing work that you're doing and sharing your light and sharing your wisdom. And thank you for sharing that, like, because it is about feeling worthy, even just to put yourself out there and then to kind of show up and you're doing it all, and then people are getting the results. And so then it's like, well, we have to own this now. So I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Can I just add one other thing? It's a funny story. Every time a bill comes into my house, I write thank you, thank you, thank you on it. And my husband says to me, are you having a laugh, you know? But I always do it. Even actually when I get a page, I write thank you, thank you, thank you, you know. And I laugh because, you know, when I look back at them and think of my husband's reaction initially, was, you know, you're having a laugh here. What are you at, you know? But it's that trust and that openness to receive and knowing that you're going to be supported, because I have my home set up in a way that is supporting us. You know, water feature, water flowing towards the house, all the remedies that should be there, and I feel so confident and so calm about it all,
Oh, I love that. And I can really feel that like in my energy field, my body when I'm speaking to you, that serene, calm feeling, And I thank you for sharing that as well. Just a lot of personal things that you're doing. And I love the thank you, thank you, thank you, because it's like, well, thank you that I have the running water or the electricity. And thank you for the fact that I have it. And thank you that I have the abundance to pay for it. And then it brings us into that higher frequency versus bills. And then it's just lower vibration. And then, and then that's just that ripple effect. So that's so huge, like that you do that. So thank you for sharing. Like, and I learned so much from all of you as well as I know all our listeners are. So, okay, we're going to come around the circle like one more time, Marie. What else would you like to share with us in your experiences? And as I say, I love where it's selling the home or whatever it is, because they're all avenues for the abundance, isn't it?
I mean, it's fascinating to hear the stories that the ladies have been sharing. Like to me, I've experienced it more personally and also you end up when you're so not ingrained, I don't know if that's the right word, but when you've embodied Feng Shui so much, the lingo starts talking. So when people talk to you and you're like, oh, I have this issue, and you're like, I wonder what's in her southwest or what's in her southwest, I wonder how the house is, and it kind of becomes, like we talk about it with my partner, where sometimes, people say, oh, I have that issue. I'm like, yeah, but what's in their house? And how clear is that? And what's in there? And I mean, for the last year, we've been looking at houses even, just, I have my own house, but just a bigger one, bigger garden. And he'd be like, what do you think of that one? I'm like, nah, it's in the corner, not good Feng Shui. Like it's literally embodied that you think that way, that when you're placing things, you're really conscious of, no, I'm not going to buy this thing. I don't think it would bring good one. And, do we really, like, doesn't hate me for that, but I'm constantly like, do you really need this? Do you need that amount of stuff? Or do you need that? Or can we just, so every couple of weeks, I mean, we have bags for recycling and for charities that you just leave it. I suppose that's my main thing for people listening is that, and through the stories that the ladies have shared, is once you start experiencing it, it's a roller coaster. You just keep on thinking about it. And even, I mean, we've talked about the house, but I really apply it to my garden as well. So the type of plants I'm going to choose, the colors, where I'm placing them, the trees, all of that plays because, like, I mean, Feng Shui is about the land, and the land is also your garden. So to me, like the type of trees that I have, like, I mean, at the back, which is brilliant from a boundary point of view, they were already there. Like I have hawthorn, I have elder, I have holly, ivy, like they're just there. And when you see them flourishing and really being vibrant, somehow to me it means, okay, the land must be happy. Because a funny story was where I have the house, and it's on a hill. So I live in Wicklow, and I was told actually during COVID by a neighbor, but did you not know, like, the land is cursed? And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, like the farmer that used to own the land, when he died, he knew that some of his inheritors wanted to sell to build estates. And he said, nobody should build estates on my land. It's supposed to be for nature. It's supposed to, I don't want, And so the locals know that, oh, yeah, he's cursed, the land and stuff. And I was like, really? And actually, when I moved in within a month, I found weird stuff in the garden, like things that are old Irish cursey things. And I was like, that might explain, But when you look where I am, everybody who's looked after their garden and have actually poured their heart into putting trees and plants and loved it have no issues. And the ones who have concreted it, just like, issues in relationships, issues in money, you see a lot of houses moving, people. And so what Feng Shui helps as well is reconnecting to that land and understanding its balance and how if you give it to it, it'll give it back. That's my experience again. And Feng Shui just helped bring it together. So things that intuitively you may feel. I think I shared that with you, Amanda, before. That's how I came to Feng Shui was I was instinctively moving things in the house or moving things in the garden, and I didn't understand why. And I needed to. It was like something coming into my body, like, and I even do it sometimes when I go into that frenzy, and my partner just goes away. He's like, "Oh, there she is," and I just need to. Things need to move. Things need to change. So it's kind of, once you embody it, it's very hard to let go. It just becomes second nature. And that's
And it's listening as well. Like, I love that you're saying this. I mean, it is definitely better connection to nature, and it's not just inside the house, it's in our gardens. I love that. And then it's really listening. It's like that no longer feels like right. It's like, even like I said with the utility room, it's like all of a sudden it was like, and like Paula was saying, it was like, oh my gosh, I see it. Now I'm gonna clear it. And it was just like in me. You just couldn't stop me. I just had to clear it, So I love that. I love that. And it's following that consciousness that moves through you, and that's not working there anymore. And then I love that, just it's what we can mindfully bring in. So whether it's plants in our home or fresh flowers or the hawthorn tree in our garden or whatever we choose to grow, we do everything with a consciousness behind it, whether it's writing thank you on the notes that come in and the bills, and or there's all the different beautiful ways that you've all shared to be conscious in all that we're doing and all that we are and how we express and how we show up in the world. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Paula.
I do understand, Marie. Sometimes I say, oh, I need to remove my Feng Shui glasses, because sometimes you go to places and you feel really uncomfortable and you see like pointing arrows at your back. So it's kind of, I always check where I see facing good direction. So sometimes it's like, okay, breathe in and relax for like 1 hour, because then people they always ask me, what happened? What happened? Is there bad energy here around? I'm like, no, don't worry. So it's part of our brain and soul, I think now. After you studying Feng Shui and dowsing and the colors, everything goes to the right place. So you really see the difference when you work in a house. So you know that it's working. I mean, it's been for more than 4,000 years in the world that we live now. So it's like a science. I remember one time I saw a conference of Stephen Skimmer, Grandmaster Stephen Skimmer. Oh, he's fantastic. And he said, Feng Shui is a science. You do this, you do that, and this is the result. And I said, oh, he's very square. And then I realized, yeah, you do this, these are the remedies, and it's working. You bring abundance or the health. So I always try to explain to people, it's not just, oh, you need to buy everything new. We try to use your things and move them to the better place in your house. It's not just buying and decorating the whole house again, because if you want that, you can hire a decorator. I have nothing to do here. I just want to use your things and put them in the place that, according to Feng Shui, they will serve you better to attract more energy and attract the different things in every part of the house. And they like that. So then you win the husband. I always said that, because it's not shopping. Oh, fantastic! I like this lady. Because I always think it's just shopping. And the other thing I always said to people is it's really good to space clear the house before you do anything. So you get the energies and you will feel a difference. And declutter. Even if you don't do any Feng Shui, just declutter. We have so many things that we don't use. And there's people at the moment or all the time that they don't have the things that we don't use. So why don't you give them? And then you attract more good karma, I always said. And then move 27 things around the house. And then you see, and they will call you in a week or two. Oh, this is amazing. Can you do the Feng Shui in the house? Because they notice difference. So I think I believe we are very sensitive of energies and everything. And not everyone understand that. But the moment that you tell them, you do the space cleaning or you declutter, they do feel difference in their houses. And that's the beautiful part. It's not us, because we have a special eyes. I always said that we see more than they see in their houses.
Yeah.
So when we see and we are good communicating this, they will understand and they will like it. And that's the beauty of the Feng Shui, that we help them. We don't do all the work. We just guide them and they do the things, because if you start moving their things, they don't get it. So it's like you said, Amanda, one time, okay, now you remove whatever you have, and then you start moving things, and then you do the work, and they help you, and they feel the difference, and you're happy when they call you after a week or something, and then, I got the job, or as Elke said, I sold the 2 houses. It's like we're channeling all this amazing knowledge and the support that we have from different realms and angels or whatever you believe. And then we are the channel, so we help them in the house. So I really like that part of the Feng Shui, that we are the instrument of this. You need to be humbled in that way. I never think it's just only me. It's like 4,000 years knowledge that the masters have passed to different teachers. And then we are lucky to have Amanda, and then she share all this with us, and then we learn, and then we work, and then people feel the difference. So I believe that is the fantastic way of working with Feng Shui.
That's so beautiful. And I love that. It's like, so we're not alone doing this work. There's this ancient wisdom coming through, dates back thousands of years. There is the ancestors, the lineages of it. There is, and as you said, the various realms, the ancestors, the land, the sun, the stars, the moon. I mean, the classical Feng Shui flying stars is based on how is the alignment of the stars, what is the land beneath us, and then the ancestors of the land. I mean, we could go on, and like there's all the support, and then we come in with this ancient knowledge to this present day, and then together work together. Like it's we show up, we might give some guidance, but it's really up to that person to consciously choose, I'm going to let that go, I'm going to make space, I'm going to all these series of decisions that then support them to step into whatever it is they're ready, whether it's the relationship with abundance, with themselves, with stepping into more vibrant health, whatever that is, all of the above, right? That's their birthright. So thank you for sharing that. I love how you all. Yes.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to share with the girls, because it's very funny, when you know all these things and you know it's working, you really want to share it with everyone, and you're kind of shouting in the corners. And I learned that when people are ready, they will call you. As Fionnuala said, you don't need to advertise everything, because we are not always ready to the new things. So you just share a little bit, and when people are ready to do the changes, they will come to you. It took time, but it's now I do it.
Yeah, like Elke said, this gentleman bought gifts for everybody, and yours happened to be a Feng Shui book. Like clearly he got some kind of guidance, right, to bring you that Feng Shui book. But you said you kind of put it on the shelf. It wasn't like you just tore into the whole thing. And you said you opened one page, did the training, but then you kind of said you put it back on, and it was a couple of years later. So it's like when we're ready, we can take that bit, we can let that digest, or you could walk into somebody's home and be like, oh my God, and they're just like, why are you telling me what to do in my home? Like they're not ready for that, or they don't want to hear that, or maybe not at all in this lifetime. But so it's about you're right, letting them come to you. And it's more like, okay, Fionnuala, tell me why you're traveling the world, and you just got that big smile on your face every day. You come on, tell us the secret. You'd be like, well, Feng Shui and land healing, tell us more. That's really, okay, Marie, your garden is blooming, your man's in there. What have you been doing? It's like, tell us. So it's not like, you got to have Feng Shui, I'm going to go around selling it. It's leading through inspiration, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because a house is very private, and it's a family space, so you cannot just go and invade and say, oh, you should move this and that because it's not good Feng Shui. They will look at you like, who do you think you are? I mean, it's my house, and we need to respect that because it's not our place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Paula. Thank you. And I love all your different unique expressions of what Feng Shui is. Because even though on some level we're all saying, conscious space, having a space that we love, like it's just our own unique way of expressing that. And that's so powerful. So Elke, we're back around to you again, love.
So I have a few quick things that I'd like to share. So abundance, wealth and abundance is not always, as we've said already, it's not always about money. It's about everything, so it's about abundance of everything. And I did an online consult. I did an online kind of a class for a group, about a year and a half ago or something. And one of the ladies in the group contacted me and asked me would I do an online consultation for her. So I did it anyway. And what I do is I just kind of I don't do I can do feng shui on its own, I can do interior design on its own, but most people just want me to turn up and just say whatever. Do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, that's the right curtain for that. And oh God, maybe move that picture. Do you know what I mean? So it's about weaving it into whatever you're doing. And I just love the way it's actually naturally gone that way now, because I had to split it for a long time. It had to be Life Path Designs, and then I had to have Life Path Feng Shui. And, I would love at some point that the two of that can just come back together, But anyway, to get back to this lady, I just went through her house and we got to her son's bedroom, and he was special needs and he was having problems sleeping, and he was really struggling, and it had gone on for years. And I looked around the room, and this was all through a video. She was there with the camera on the phone, and I could see loads of things, and I was like, oh, change this, change that. And then I noticed there was like all these, I think there were birds hanging out of the ceiling, and it was like, it gave a nice aesthetic. But I knew, to anyone with, especially a child that had sensitivity, these weren't really the right things to have there. So I was like, oh God, straight away it made me go, oh, God, if we can take them down. So a few things were suggested and I didn't think any more of it. And then I get a text, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. She told me, after years and years of visiting doctors, hospitals, clinics, counsellors, and in the end she had to give up work because he was awake every night and they had to sit with him every night and comfort him. He was now sleeping in his bedroom. And she said, thank you so much for giving me my life back. And I was just like, wow. It was like that really meant so much to me, to think that little boy was actually now sleeping, and what them parents had been through for all those years. But she wrote me a lovely testimonial. It's up on my social media or whatever. But, it's just amazing, isn't it? That you just do something so easily, but it has such a profound effect. And you never know the thing that you're going to say or do is going to make that transition happen. And I just think that's lovely. And another thing that I did was we had I used to run decluttering classes and vision board, that kind of a thing, those classes. And, these women were all there this day, and they were just sticking away and chatting and laughing and making a joke of things that were sticking on the board and all. And I was walking by one of them, and I picked up this cotton. I don't know what it was like an award thing. And I said, oh, stick that on. And she went, oh, I don't want to win any awards. For what? And I said, sure, you never know, you might win an award. And it was stuck on. I got a message. I was actually, when I went to China, I was getting all these messages on the group chat coming through. She had been nominated the following week. Her business had been nominated by the Chamber of Commerce for an award.
That's amazing. I love it.
And I was like, there you are. She didn't even want it. And you know what? She didn't want it and she didn't get it. She actually didn't even win it, but it's the fact she was nominated. Do you know what I mean? But all other things were on her. But there was another lady there, and I had done a consultation for her, and she was like, oh, I've nothing to put there now. And I just picked up this magazine and we just tore off the top bit and wow, something like Image magazine. Yeah, right. And she stuck it on. And next thing I knew, she had an interview for this massive skincare company, and they did massive campaigns. So they were going to be on Image magazine. So it was just amazing how just it all attracts, the energy it is feng shui. It is all about putting in the remedies, but it is all about the energy of it as well. And I suppose the last thing really is that about a year ago, I started to work. I took a job full time along with running my business as well. I felt like I wanted to get out of the house more and see more people. And with COVID, things had kind of slowed down a bit for me. And I took this job anyway. It's around the corner from me in this massive furniture company. And it was a brand new store. And we had spent weeks putting it together. We didn't know what date it was going to open because, as you know, you're still unpacking boxes at the last minute. So anyway, it was announced it was going to open up on Friday, the 22nd of April, 2022, right? So 22/4/22. And I was like, oh, that's a nice date. So anyway, I came home anyway. I don't know, we got early breaks that day, and I came home to get ready for the opening. And next thing, it just dawned on me, wow, my business was registered on the 22nd of April, 2014. Like, how amazing is that? Like, that I'd walked into this was actually opening on the same date as my business was registered. And as well as that, on my website, I have this this cover picture, and it's like this beautiful sweeping staircase with a glass balcony. And that's exactly, when you walk into this shop, that's exactly what you have. You walk in, you've got this massive sweeping staircase and this glass balcony. Even the steel beams are in the place. That's the same as the picture that's on my website. And it's the picture I've used since 2014. And, you know, yeah, it just really made me realize, because at the time I felt like, oh, I should be staying home and doing more of my feng shui and things like that. And I'm like, no, I can do it and spread it out. Do you know what I mean? So the perfect thing now, I'm actually helping people with their interiors, and I can still help them with their feng shui choices, you know, and it's all about just, but I can understand everyone saying about the fear and things like that. But yeah, I had that for a long time. But now I'm just like, yes, everybody needs to know about this now. Do you know what I mean? Everyone should be thinking about these things, because it's very prominent when you actually look at things, what they actually represent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. And I just got such chills in my body when you talked about these parents and how they finally, as the mom said, I got my life back, and
Yeah.
feeling better, and the parents are feeling better, and like it's just such a gift. That's hard to kind of beat when you receive a message like that, and to know that you were a part of that is so huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so lovely.
Thank you, love. Thank you for sharing. I love hearing about your experiences in your own personal lives and with your clients and everything. So, Fionnuala.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot I can add now to what everybody has said today. You know, I can I have a sense that when we've studied feng shui and we've learned what we've learned, and the knowing is just amazing. You know, you walk into a space, you're not going to start proclaiming, "Oh, I know, you know what's going on here. I know what's right, what's wrong." People tune in sometimes to how you're feeling about a situation, but to the most part, they don't know. But you have this knowing, this feeling. And when there's people ready to hear and the person wants to know a little bit more, then we have the wisdom to share. And I think for me, that's a wonderful thing to be able to do. It's a lovely place to be in life now that you're kind of shining your light where it's needed. But to the most part, I use feng shui for me, for my life. And I know the transformation it's made in my whole existence. It's just, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing this wealth of information that all of you have. And I'd love to just come around for those of you that would like to share kind of what's next, or what you're doing. And Marie, I know that you've started sharing in a beautiful way, because with your other practices. If you'd like to share about what you're doing, it'd be great for us all to hear.
Yeah. So I'm kind of have a full-time job right now in a company, but I'm really kind of focusing a lot on, like, Feng Shui is one of the practices, because it looks at the house and the land, but to me, then I bring in the flower essences, and one leads to another. Like, I had a client for flower essences that ended up then wanting Feng Shui. So it's because, you know, they kind of link in a way. So
Absolutely.
so I kind of have, right now, I only have like a Facebook page, which is called Spiraling into the Heart. I'm building a website where I'll be able to clearly state the different offerings. So between the Feng Shui, the flower essences, I do family constellations and ancestral healing, and I'm a professional coach. So these are the kind of the four corners of the practice and the business. And yeah, like, if that's really like, I like, everybody focuses differently, and you mentioned it very beautifully, where we all learn, but we all have different energies and different ways of expressing it. And to me, really, it comes through that whole ancestor and nature driven, and all kind of I bring it from a more shamanic way, but that's just how I am. And yeah, like, looking forward to, you know, talk more about it. I talk a little about my friends and spread the word. But yeah,
I love that. Thank you. And we'll make sure everybody's websites and all that, everything where you can get a hold of all of you, it'll all be in the show notes. So Thank you so much, Marie. That's so beautiful, all these gorgeous offerings. And Paula, would you like to share just kind of like what's next, or, what you'd like to share with us?
I'm full-time now in Feng Shui. So I do a lot of Feng Shui and dowsing and healing dowsing, which I really love, and space clearing. And now after learning the distance space clearing, oh, I love that. It's very, very powerful. And I'm working in my webpage. I'm like Fionnuala, I'm really bad at technology. So I'm little by little, I'm just building the webpage, but I'm more concentrated also in learning more, because I think in this work that we do, you never stop learning Feng Shui or dowsing or healing. So it's nice that we work and we try to give the best we can, but also nurture ourselves and try to study more, and teaching also my clients meditation, because I was never into meditation before Feng Shui. I thought it was kind of for monks and like all the time. And now I have my routine in the morning, and I cannot go out without doing my meditation and protection of colors and everything. So I think it's very important to take care of ourselves before we work, because you never know what you find in a house. I feel that when you work in this Feng Shui or space clearing, we are very sensitive at energies. So we really need to protect ourselves and enjoy the work. I mean, I really enjoy it. I'm really happy to have done the last, as I call it, my last certification with Amanda, because now it's kind of full on working all the time, and it's amazing. And as Elke said, I did 2 certifications before, and yours was the classical. And when I saw the numbers, I was like, what am I doing here? Oh gosh. But it makes so much sense. I mean, you really feel now that all the pieces go together. So it's I'm really happy I did it. So that's a little bit what I'm doing now. So
That's beautiful.
as soon as I have my webpage, I will share it with you.
Yeah, brilliant. But though, but I really just feel like, I mean, right now when I think about some of the people who I so admire, the work they do in the world, and they could be booked out for a year. They don't even have websites. So I don't necessarily think you have to follow everybody has a website, because the flow is just happening. Do you know what I mean? It just, as Fionnuala says, like it just comes in. And Paula, clearly you're working full time as a Feng Shui professional. You don't have a website. So I don't think it has to be that. It's about energy flow. And, when anybody ever says, like, how do I get more clients? It's never about, well, push harder, more marketing. It's just actually, what's your own vibration? Are you in the energy of receiving and of abundance and writing thank you on what comes in? And are you willing to receive it? Because it's just like, oh, you want to have more clients, but just do some inner work. That's basically not like go build. I mean, a website can be useful, but it's not completely necessary. I could name 5 people that I know that are booked out for a month that don't actually have websites. So,
yeah. I mean, I've been really lucky. I've been working for 2 years with Feng Shui, and I don't have any website. It's just my telephone and my emails.
There you go. I love it. I love it. So it's energy flow. It really is. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And Elke.
It's amazing, Paula. Well done. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. You've got my website, and I've just shared my Life Path Feng Shui social medias and my LinkedIn with you. So really, I'm working full time now as well. This is what I have to do at this moment. It's just part of this journey. I know it is. And I have to say, really, since I started doing Feng Shui, like employment came to me. I never looked for it. So I had three sets of employment where they literally, ring Elke. Do you know what I mean? Or ask her to do it. And I ended up with one job was for a couple of years. And do you know what I mean? It was, so I totally resonated with what you're saying, is that like I wasn't out there even applying for jobs, but I got 3. But this one I did apply for, and I really do feel it's part of my journey to be here at the moment. I've kind of cut back at the moment on teaching, but I will definitely be back doing it. So I'm just doing mostly consultations at the moment, and online consultations on anything that anyone wants help with. I'm more than happy.
It's amazing. And I know that you were teaching all these wonderful like world or country, national wide. Anyway, I know they were just so popular and everything.
Yeah.
And it's that ebb and flow. It's like, okay, I really am in that teaching. Oh, you know what? I think this is what I'm going to do for now. I'm going to carry on consulting. And then it flows back around. So I love that it is really listening to what feels good and not forcing anything. And
Yeah.
it feels really good. And I know you got new grandbabies and all sorts. Like,
I know. And, you know, like my beautiful 10-month-old grandson is living with me. And so my feng shui is like all over the place in this house. It's like, you're talking about random stuff around your house, Marie. You'd want to see the random stuff that's stuck around my house. I got a beautiful big peace lily at the front door and he's eating the leaves. So that has to be moved. There's another plant he took a shine to. That's after being moved. So it's all gone into the southeast area, which now has 4 plants in it. And it's like, honestly, I don't know how the feng shui is going in this house at the moment, but it's moving. Stuff's moving. But
I feel you. I feel you. I always share this because, you know, I'm practicing feng shui 20 odd years now, but Patrick's only 10 or 11. So I had a good decade where I was practicing feng shui, teaching feng shui, like before, you know.
Yeah.
I just love came along. And I will tell you, it was the most humbling experience because I used to go in there and people said, oh, you get too much better than this, you gotta give me this. And then the kids came along and I was like, I am so sorry what I put you all through that, kids. Like it just doesn't work that way. So it's really meeting us where we're at. And it's just like, this is my life. This is what does actually need to be in the home. And it's like, this really, really all comes back to compassion, self-compassion, compassion for
yeah.
Gotta have all this, you know, extra stuff and, you know, in the home right now.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to be honored in the space, you know. There's a good bit of Lego in the living room and there's an extra kids' kitchen in the kitchen and there's a, you know, there's all that. But you know what is that? That is joy. That is joy.
Yeah.
I've got a lovely set of sofas, but there's covers over them because guess what? I've got dogs and I've got goats and I've got chickens and I've got kids. I'm like, but you know, I'm hoping in a few years the sofas will still be lovely because the covers.
There's times I dream about like, you know, I think, oh, one day, you know, it'll all be calm again. They'll have all grown up again. But you know what? I'm just going to just roll, like you said. I'm rolling with this. It's absolutely mental here.
Just rolling.
Yeah, I know. And I just burn sage when I can and light candles, and I still do my feng shui. But it's like what you were saying, Maria, is about this random stuff in the house. And I'm talking about like a red jar representing fire, and someone will go, why have you got an empty red jar there? And I'm like, oh God, is that a feng shui remedy? I can't remember now. So I have to go back to some of my charts to see, is it something that's after being moved there, or is that the actual remedy? The salt water cures are the only things I know. Don't touch them. Don't touch them. They're good. Don't touch them. But yeah, no, we're okay. We're all right. It's going to be good. But I am definitely going back teaching. It's what I absolutely loved doing. I knew it was time to take just a little step back, just for a year or two. I'm doing it. I mean, I'm doing group work online with groups. I work with worked with MS groups, therapists was my main focus. Weight loss groups, reflexology. So therapy, feng shui for therapists was my main class that I taught, that and decluttering. So I will be back doing that. Yeah. But I'll just do online. It's probably safe, or visit someone's home on the weekend.
Oh, well, thank you, Elke. And Fionnuala, would you like to leave us with any closing love?
Yes. So for now, I'm just going to go with the flow. I have some workshops set up for September. So I'll get prepared for those. And I'm working at the moment with children with special needs. And I find that takes up a lot of my energy right now. So that'll finish at the end of June. So I'm kind of taking a little bit of time out now for a holiday, and I'm replenishing the body. And then I will go back and finish out the year and enjoy as much of the time as I can. And I if work comes to me, I will certainly be delighted to partake and assist in any way I can. But right now it's kind of, whatever comes up and go with the flow.
That's beautiful. Well, the class I'm sure will be wonderful in September. And thank you, as I said, for joining us when you're on holiday. Take a time out of your holiday.
It's great. No, I'm very happy.
Oh, well,
Very
thank
happy.
you. And
Yeah.
I want to say thank you all it was so fun because, we could be going on for hours, but we're going to call it a day now. And I just want to say thank you for all that you shared personally and with clients and just, all the experiences. And here's to many, many more. And thank you for sharing. And so we're going to just invite you all now to we'd love to hear from you if you listened and there was things that inspired you, and if there's results that you get from just cleaning your drains or getting the front door open, or from all this wonderful wisdom. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear about your feng shui experiences. And we're going to say goodbye. So thank you, loves. Thank you for being here.